Another big fight week for you,
Yeah.
and another step up, and fill in for somebody opportunity, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the only way I get fights
It's
nowadays,
it's like your
but
reputation now; they know who to call.
yeah. No, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it for sure. I train all year round. I've never been the type of person to just disappear from the gym until they get a matchup. Like I'm always there learning and stuff. So yeah, I was happy it finally came through. It's been about I think before I got the call, it had been about 3 months since my last fight. So I
Right.
was already itching to get
Yeah.
back in
Well, I mean,
there
you had
and
such an active 2019, anyways. I mean,
yeah.
So I mean, being known as a person who will step up and take something if they need somebody. I mean, I'm sure that's going to help you continue to build that kind of frequency, this year as well.
For sure, for sure. I was really upset with myself just because I wasn't super in shape, and they called me when Jandaroba's opponent fell out for the UFC DC card. So I had been taking some time off to nurse an injury, and then when I got the call, I was like, man, I really kicked myself. So I was like, 2020, I'm saying yes to everything. I'm gonna be in shape. I'm gonna be ready. And then I got the call while I was on vacation in Scotland for Christmas. So it was perfect timing. I was like, yeah, I already made that decision. I've been training. I've been getting in shape. And then when I got the call, I was ready to go.
Is that the kind of goal that you set, anyways? To say, hey, 4 fights in 2019, that's about as good as anybody can ask for at the UFC level, right? And did you say 4 again in 2020? Just because,
man, let's do more than that.
I mean, the more you guys can't take a lot of time off lest you be sort of forgotten into the pack, right?
Yeah, well, for someone like me, I started in the UFC with only one fight, and it took me a while to, I don't know, gain popularity just because I didn't come in with any type of hype train, and then I had a few setbacks early on in my career. So I feel like people are finally getting on board. People are finally recognizing my potential and how good I am and how hard I train and how hard I fight. And the more I get comfortable in there, the more people are gonna jump on board as well. So yeah, it's been a really tough learning curve, but I feel like I'm finally coming into my own as a fighter, and just doing what I practice, being able to do in the cage what I practice at the gym.
How much of getting people on board has to do also with with your last time out down in Mexico, being able to get a finish finally in the UFC?
Yeah, it was great. It was really great for my for my popularity. I feel like just because it was, I don't know. I think some people were saying that it was an early stoppage. I didn't get as much recognition as I would have if I had gotten a clean KO, or if I had had her skull hanging out of her face, that's what I wanted to do, but they stopped me. But this time I'm gonna just try to do the same thing, go for blood, try to get the finish, just push my cardio, because that's the one thing that's always held me back. I've always been afraid of getting tired in there, and so that'll stop me from really going crazy and really trying to beat the girl up.
Sure.
So now I've been more confident in my endurance, more confident in my speed and my power, and I think that's going to be the big difference between the Angela that you've seen getting close decision losses, and the Angela that's going to be getting finishes.
Talk about sort of the opportunity to build on that momentum and be able to string several finishes together, because it feels like that's, especially in your division, what is needed to kind of get to that point where they say, all right, this girl's in the title picture right now.
For sure. Look at the current champion. She only had maybe 3 wins in a row before people were saying title fight, title fight, title fight. And yeah, our division is so mixed up. There's so many girls who are talented in a few things, but not able to deal with everything. So that's why you have a lot of people who, the MMA math doesn't work against. They'll beat one girl up, and then that girl will beat some other girl up, and then those two people will fight, and then it's a totally different outcome from what you expect. So yeah, our division, you have a few people who are able to deal with everything, and then everyone else is, trying to catch up. So this is my goal, is to be one of those people who can just do everything in there, who can just be versatile, be powerful, and be dominant.
Talk a little bit about fighting somebody this week who she's got a little bit, she got that kind of home cage advantage. She's not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the kind of thing that you think about going into a fight? Does it put a chip on your shoulder and say, hey, this would be even better to be able to beat somebody in that kind of circumstance, or does it even matter to you?
I don't know. It's like kind of like the bitch in me wants to like beat her up in front of her fans as they cheer for her and then they get silent. That's always kind of like a fun moment.
That's the daydream moment where you,
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. What you gotta say now? So yeah, I think going into enemy territory is pretty fun. It is pretty fun as a fighter, but I started my MMA career out here. Like I trained in Asheville for about 2 years before I ended up going to Alliance, and like North Carolina is cool, but I definitely feel like an atmosphere like San Diego is a lot more inviting for fighters. I think you just get a lot more talent coming through, a lot more people to check you, to make you better. So I feel like I'm going to be coming in with not just the experience advantage, but just the advantage from having different training partners from all parts of the world and not just North Carolina.
Tell me real quick about what she kind of brings to the table against you, and then how you feel like you're able to get it done on Saturday night.
I think she has power. I think she's a scrappy grappler. She wings on her hooks a bit. So those are the things that I'm looking out for. Is just drawing out the power shots and then hitting her as she tries to recover from that. And yeah, I just think that I'm better everywhere. I think I could take her down. If I'm winning on the feet, we'll see what happens. But if she does start to get the upper hand, I think I'll be able to take her down and just slow her down a bit. And so that I think that's the big thing that I've been working on is using every tool in the cage and not just my striking, which I'm most comfortable with.